welcome to the Talking Blondes. My name is Caitlin, and so happy to have you with us today.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Virginia.
Yay! Hello, Virginia.
Hello.
How are things in beautiful Northwest Idaho today?
They are truly beautiful. We've had some gorgeous sunny weather. Spring is springing, and it's just so lovely.
Okay, girl, we had snow today in Ohio. I'm not even kidding you.
I'm so sorry.
Right. Like I'm not here for it. But anyways, love that for you.
Thank you.
And I genuinely mean that. I am jealous, but I love that for you.
No.
And if you're listening or watching, either way, we're so happy to have you with us. And we hope that you are experiencing sunny, lovely weather and that you are able to just enjoy the sunshine and make the most of what this season has to offer. And we are back. We are back.
Back, baby.
Uh, if you are new, welcome. We are, as we said, we are the Talking Blondes. We like to cover a variety of topics on this show. The majority of what we talk about, we like to kind of talk about self-help, mental health, self-growth, leaning into who you are as a person. We're really big on inner child things and just really trying to be the best version of yourself. We also like to talk about just fun, girly things and things that bring us joy. And if you have been listening to us lately, then you'll probably have noticed that we've covered some more heavy topics lately. And it's our honor to have done that, and I'm sure we will continue to be doing that. But we also try to leave space for a bit more maybe lightheartedness for certain episodes. And so Virginia had a great idea, and I'm all for it, to kind of make this episode be a little bit more, light, breezy, airy, all the things. So in the past, we have made references randomly and shamelessly, of course, to all kinds of pop culture things and millennial core things. Shout outs to Kate Hudson and all the rom-coms and just all the things in general. And so we thought it might be fun to do a little bit more pop culture stuff today. But we're going to do it with a twist. We are going to talk a little bit about, maybe some life lessons and some things that maybe movies and shows from our childhood and teen years and 20s and so on as millennials maybe led us a little bit astray. Okay? Not mad about it. Wouldn't change a thing. But we are gonna, kind of cover some stuff. So buckle up, buttercups. It's gonna be a fun ride. I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. You know what, Virginia? I'm mad because this is gonna be released on a Wednesday, and neither of us are wearing pink. What we got this whole thing wrong.
We're gonna
I'm
crawl
embarrassed.
over.
I'm so embarrassed. We cannot sit with the plastics. We are shunned for good. Anyways, I will kick us off here. Hopefully someone listening, hopefully you're wearing pink, or maybe you can wear pink in our honor. In classic Talking Blondes fashion style, if you will, I will kick us off here with a little quote. Normally, we'd like to do a quote that's a little bit more mental health related, but again, this is going to be a little less that way. So just get ready for it, everybody. So the quote I have chosen for today, and it is a little emotional. It comes from The Office, from Mr. Andy Bernard. If you're an Office fan, you're already good in my book. If you're not, or you've not seen it, listen. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyways, the quote is, "I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them." Most Office fans probably knew what the quote was before I even opened my mouth to say what it was, but it's a quote that I've always loved, and I think just millennials in general, I think we of course, our upbringing and our teens and 20s, nothing was ever perfect. But I do think that we kind of, you know, matured and grew and had like coming of age eras
Yes.
of our lives where it was
Mhm.
like, this is a magical time. I mean, how many songs can we think of from, the 2010s era where it's like, tonight's the night, we only have this night, we're only young once, let's do this, like, we're young, we're free, this and that, and it's just, to me, a quote like that really kind of just seems to capture that feeling.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah, it definitely makes me think of so many things from pulp culture that, yes, I know we're going to talk about, in some of the ways that maybe quote unquote misled us, when we became adults. But I've had to focus more on the good of it. I mean, 90s, early 2000s was such a breakout for pop stars, right? And I would be in my bedroom and I would come up with choreographed dance, to the Britney Spears or to the NSYNCs, and there are so many happy times from my childhood, doing that. And I really would rather not look at it any other way because I was like, yeah, that's what we did. We didn't have social media. We really didn't have the internet the way it is now. So, whether it was just me or, with, my closest friends at that time, pretending we were Spice Girls and, just having fun, that's really so beautiful. And then I think of like, as I got older, like watching certain movies, like you go to Blockbuster and we rent that, movie, and then you had that sleepover and you can't help but to think of like that night, you're at your friend's house and they were over at your house and like all the foods and the drinks and the gossip and like, and you had some movie on playing in the background. Maybe it wasn't a movie you were supposed to be watching because it was the first rated R movie. And I can remember a middle school sleepover for a birthday party, and it was the movie, oh my gosh, Cabin Fever. Okay. We're all a bunch of 13-year-old girls, and we were so, like, rebellious, like, watching this movie. And you remember that movie, right, Caitlin?
oh yeah,
Eli
oh
Roth
yeah.
movie, and there's a particular scene where like the girl, her face, like from the lovely virus that she caught, flush eating virus, and the minute that scene came on, which is a shock scene, right? If you can remember everything leading up to it, it's like a shock. The girl, the birthday girl, her mother walks in right at that scene, and we all go, ah! And like popcorn flies. And like, I'm thinking to myself, I am so happy that I have that. I'm also traumatized. But
Stop.
the
That's
both
hilarious.
exist at the same time because it was just so great. And there's so many other times that happened as I got older. There are certain shows that define that season of life that I was in.
Oh yeah.
And I could look back and like, thank God I had something like that to get me through, like almost an escape from my reality. And
Yeah.
I can get into more of that later in the episode. But yeah, my brain is already going like, wow, like pulp culture actually has a huge impact
Yes.
on us.
Big time, big time. No, my mind is going a mile a minute over here. Like there's my 90s brain is like, what about
Yeah.
that? And that, and that. No.
Hmm.
And to your point, sleepovers were everything. And I
Yeah.
absolutely was convinced that I was gonna be discovered. My mom was gonna like maybe call a manager out in Hollywood or something and send her like a video of me
This
doing
is
some
so
dumb
great.
choreography to Britney Spears, and it was gonna be bye bye Ohio, hello LA kind of
Bye
thing.
bye bye, Ohio.
Right. Hi Justin. Hello.
Oh my God, that's so
Hi
great.
NSYNC. Yeah, I had a, I think when I turned 8, I had a Spice Girls themed birthday party, and it
Yes,
was
did.
optional to dress up, but it was encouraged. Dress
Was
up as your
encouraged.
favorite Spice Girl.
Oh
So of
my
course
God.
we watched the movie and everything, and
Oh,
this just goes to show you the time. So again, no social media, barely
yeah.
internet, computers. It was like a big deal if you had one.
Hmm.
My mom borrowed someone's camcorder because we didn't have one. She's
Oh.
recording, we're dancing, we're partying, we're pizza this, ice cream that, da 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 da, whatever. The next day, we go to watch the footage from the party.
Yeah.
My mom, God bless her. Why is it
Oh
so
no.
dark? What the
Oh
heck?
no.
She didn't take the
Oh
cap off the lens,
no. This
Virginia.
is
So all
classic.
you hear is like a bunch of like
Oh
jarbled,
no.
say you'll be there. Like
Wait, like
that's not how that sounds. Why did I sing it like that? I don't know. I'm just this is the millennial excitement in me. But
this
a lot
is
of
great.
wannabe, a lot of this, a lot of that, and it's just like it was sad.
You know, that's like a classic sitcom moment where the cat was on, and oh my gosh, that is the best.
It was a
Okay,
time.
so you had a Spice Girl themed birthday party. I didn't have a Spice Girl themed birthday party, but I got a Spice Girl bike. And
No.
let's just say I was the baddest bitch, 6-year-old bitch in the neighborhood.
Oh my God.
The amount of jealousy that went over the girls in my group, including our mutual friend Amanda. So yeah, man, I'm talking shit. It was like, oh,
We're gonna have to revisit this when Amanda
happy
comes on.
birthday. And I was like, yeah, I am that bitch.
Gosh. We have to revisit this when we have Amanda on the show. We have to come back to
For
mental
sure.
note, come back to this and
Mental
ask
note.
her. We need to let her tell her side. Okay, we gotta be fair.
Yes,
We gotta
that's
be fair.
that's only fair.
I'm sure you were the baddest bitch on the block. I have no doubt. I have no
Well,
doubt.
Amanda let me know later on she was mad jealous, so that's why I'm able to say it. But of course, we can always bring her on to share her side of the story, that jealous bitch.
Stop it. This is what the real topic should be when she comes on. Nothing
So
else. That's what
great.
we really
Yeah,
have to
all
focus
that
on.
other nonsense. It's about that night at my 6th birthday party.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, all childhood stories aside, actually no. There's going to probably be a ton of childhood stories not aside. On the plate, on the table. Not aside. We're going to be telling a lot more of them, but I will kick us off with maybe a couple questions first, and then we're gonna dive in and we're gonna really address here just some false ideas that some top millennial shows and movies gave our generation just about how the real world will work. So we'll get into
That
those in a
sounds
second, but
great.
couple questions for you, Virginia, and these are
Yes,
pretty
no.
low key. But the pressure's still on, so get
Oh yeah,
ready,
I can
okay?
feel it.
All right. So this is actually a question that I used to. So at a previous job of mine, when I would interview our interns, I would ask them this question because I think it's a very telling question.
Why?
Don't worry. It's nothing crazy. I know I keep telling you, don't worry, and then I'm like
But
amping it up.
worry. You
But
should
also
worry.
you on the edge of your seat. Okay. Um, so what fictional character from, and I made this millennial themed question for this
Okay.
episode. What fictional character from Millennial Core do you feel you most identify with?
Oh,
It could be now, or it could be like maybe previous Virginia, like at some point in your life. Is there one that you're like, yeah, I always like kind of gravitated towards that?
without maybe overthinking it, I'm definitely thinking Hilary Duff and Lizzie McGuire.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
I could see it. You got the little cartoon on your shoulder, and she's like, outfit repeater. Well, that's Kate. She's trying to not be an outfit repeater, that kind of thing. But I love
I
it.
suppose, like, I don't recall at the time, watching up and watching up. I just combined watching and growing up. Watching and growing up with Lizzie McGuire. I don't think at the time I was like, I so resonate with this and I identify strongly. It was
Sure.
just something that I strongly gravitated towards, like, just everything Lizzie McGuire and like from her friends and her family life. But I actually, when Disney Plus came out, that's when all of our shows, millennial shows, were available again. And I remember watching some episodes and I was like, man, Lizzie's annoying. Like, I still love Hillary. I adore her, but I was like, Lizzie's annoying. So it's just so funny, like, as a kid, like this is your idol, right? And then, but that's the whole point of also adulting and growing and maturing. You're not, there's parts of you that maybe the younger self, right, that can still maybe resonate with. But for the most part, you're kind of like, she's annoying and she's bratty and she always doesn't treat her friends, great, or her parents. And so it's just so funny. But I will say, I think personality wise, I loved Raven from That's So Raven, played by Raven Simone. Like, she's just a gem.
She's
so
an icon.
She really is. Her personality, her vibrancy, like just her fun, and like with her facial expressions and mannerisms and her dance moves. If I really had to say, like, that's who I really strongly like resonated, with. So
Love it.
I don't know what that means for me, but like, that's who I was when I was, it's still to this day, there are parts of me, they're just a little bit more refined, but
for sure.
that's still very much in me for sure. But yeah.
I love it. No, I mean, like, I think it is a sign of maturity where you're not like, oh yeah, like I'm Lizzie McGuire still in my 30s, and that's fine. Like, obviously you grow and life evolves and we adapt and we have to adult and do adulting things. And trust me, millennials, like, that adulting, I'm saying it. I know it's cringe for all the Gen Zers to say things like that, but I'm saying it. I don't care. But I could see you being a combination of like parts of her and parts of Raven for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
And she's a badass. Like, there's a reason that she got her own show, Raven's Home, and everything. Like, also, we were supposed to get a Lizzie McGuire adult show, like Lizzie in her, what was it, late 20s or something, and that didn't happen, and I'm still not over it. So
I'm still not over it.
I'm not.
I'm actually okay. I wish they didn't do that, to be honest. 'Cause I think the magic is done.
Yeah.
And so I understand why. It's also to make money and to keep milking it and everything. And some reboots can be totally well done. Next generation stuff. I mean, I was thinking about other shows, especially when you're in that transition from kid like to preteen and preteen to teenager. There was that channel called Nick at Night, and that's when they would play the more like teenage shows, right? So you had to like wait after like 8-9 o'clock to watch these like more like not Disney shows, let's just put it that way. So I would watch like Degrassi, Next Generation, and or other shows on that channel, and but I don't want to see them as adults. That's the thing. That's just a personal preference. We don't have to dive into all of that, but like I feel like there's a reason why it was that time, and that's like in that capsule. And so when I do see them trying to do like That's So Raven's Home or whatever, it just seems forced to me. Like trying to make this work for millennials to revisit nostalgia and to maybe even share it with their kids. But like, then just have them watch the old stuff. Like, so that's just a personal opinion.
You know what?
It's not.
You're right, and I'm so annoyed that you're right. You're right. And I am so annoyed because I want more Lizzie McGuire, damn it.
I understand. I totally understand.
But I think you're right, and that whatever, it's fine. It's fine.
Caitlin, it's fine. It's fine. We'll end it here. Cut. Cut.
Episode.
Oh my gosh, that's
No, but
great.
that is a very good point. It does kind of ruin the nostalgia of like, okay, but yeah, here they are in the suburbs as parents or paying bills or, whatever.
Yeah, you're
It's a
kind of
little
like,
different.
oh. And they still have, I mean, I think it's in a way quite beautiful that there are still some parts of them that, show up as an adult. But then a part of you is also like, you're an adult. Why are you still
Right.
acting like that? So
Right.
part of me is also like, oh, okay. I'm gonna support this. So, but that's probably a whole tangent. But yeah, I do adore though the Disney shows we grew up with. I do think Lizzie McGuire, even Stevens, That's So Raven, they were the goats. Okay, they were before the Montana shows. These were, I guess, the difference is, in my opinion, because I didn't really grow up with the Hannah Montana and all the shows that came after that. But I got to watch them because I have a younger brother and sister, and I'm 14 years older than my baby sister. So I did watch these shows with them. And the difference I saw actually in like Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, Even Steven, those were about preteens and
Mm-hmm.
just normal stuff, except for Raven because she had the psychic abilities. But for the most part, it was centered around that, just normal shit.
Yeah.
That we go through. Then this like shift happened where it was almost like having these young up and coming pop stars as children.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting to me looking back at it that we went from having like, and yes, they were, sitcoms and, those shows, so they still had like, they were Disney-fied, of course, everything wrapped in a pretty bow, like you were talking about, Caitlin, when we were sharing, ideas about this episode. But when I saw it shift from that to like almost these manufactured bubblegum pop, kids, like they, that was their norm was to, sing, dance, and, be in the industry. It was all about that. And I could see how that could have an impact on young kids when they're like, well, that's what I want to, do, and that's who I want to be. So
Right.
I felt like we grew up with like actual real people, if that makes sense.
That's
Um,
a really good point. I do think kind of after the Even Stevens, Lizzie McGuire era, like those were shows about kids living in, you know, everyday suburban areas,
yeah,
leading normal lives, going to school, coming home, having
yeah,
a siblings they fight with,
yep,
parents that embarrass them, this or
yep.
that. And at the end of the day, they're just everyday people. And then it kind of
Mhm.
got to, oh, yeah, but also you're a celebrity on the weekends. Or, oh, yeah, also you live in this super crazy expensive hotel, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and
Yeah,
you're like pulling like not as
yeah,
relatable. Still really cool and
yeah,
not knocking that at all, but not as
yeah,
relatable. Things
yeah.
like
And I
that were a little less, yeah.
exactly. And I love
Mhm.
like of Zach and Cody. I love that show. But no, that's a good word for it, relatable.
Mhm.
I felt like with the earlier Disney shows, and let's not forget all the original Disney movies. Oh my God.
Girl, girl. We
I
might need to
know
make this like 5 episodes because there's just so much.
I know. There was, it was St. Patrick's Day last week, and so the Luck of the Irish was coming up in my Instagram feed, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I love this show or movie so much.
Seriously.
What I love though are millennials today, using their platform to break down that movie or those movies that, the Disney original movies we grew up with and
Yes.
how unhinged and crazy and
Yes.
ridiculous they are. I can so
Yes.
appreciate that. Um,
Totally.
it's
Totally.
hilarious.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh.
funny.
Classic for sure. Yes. Such a good movie. So many good movies.
I know.
All right. So another question I had for you. Um, Well, I guess I have two. So, what is like your top go-to like or just a like comfort show or comfort movie? Like, let's
Oh,
say you're kind of feeling down or you just want to put something on that you can like feel like, we all have those comfort shows and movies, right? What would
yeah.
be a good millennial go-to for you?
I have two. I haven't done it recently, but there's from time to time it's The Office.
Yes.
It's The Office. Even though like after a while you're kind of like, okay, this is really repetitive and stupid. Like I can never get it really past the first couple seasons rewatching the show because it's
Okay.
a little too cringe for me.
Okay.
But I still love it.
So good.
And Scrubs is another one. So I know there's a reboot out there, and apparently it's doing well. So I'm still open to it.
Hmm.
But Scrubs defined my early 20s for me. So
Yeah.
there is a lot of emotional attachment to the show, for sure. And I still stand by that. I think the first season of Scrubs is probably the best.
So good.
They had everything you could possibly think of for a sitcom show. It was smart. It was very well ahead of its time, I felt like. It was talking about taboo topics then, like mental health, and things like that. And it's just such a well done show. I do think it got a little silly midway through, and then I think it found its way back towards the end. Then it did that god awful season that we don't talk about as true Scrub fans. That never happened. It was just a bad dream. But I can get so like, I'll smile and then there are just some such heart-wrenching moments in that show. We
Yeah.
both, Caitlin and I both follow Scrubs, the page on Facebook, and they'll replay moments that really tugged your heartstrings. There was the one where Dr. Cox, his brother-in-law, played by Brendan Fraser, who was diagnosed with cancer and he
Yep.
died.
Yep. Oh, I know. You don't even
And
have to finish
Dr.
the
Cox
sentence. Yep.
didn't quite process that, so he, had to go through this whole like, almost like to say goodbye to like to face reality that he
Yeah.
lost not just his brother-in-law but his best friend. Or when Carla had to say goodbye to Laverne, and I'm just like, and she would do everything to not say goodbye,
Yep.
right? And I'm just
Yep.
going,
Please no. No. No.
like these are such beautiful, deep moments. Or when Carla was vulnerable about postpartum depression and Jordan helped her, and
Yeah.
I just remember going, God, like these are such
Big topics.
big topics, and
Hmm.
the way
Yeah.
they were able to do it in that show was incredible. So, yeah, Scrubs was more. I really discovered Scrubs when I was in my early 20s.
Okay.
They would play the reruns on the Comedy Central station. So I would catch like episodes after school, and I was like, I really love this show. And
So
so
good.
yeah, those are the comfort shows for sure, The Office and Scrubs. And then for movies, sometimes I'm just a sucker for my rom-coms. I just not too long ago watched Monster in Law with Jennifer Lopez and Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda, oh my God. That
Queen. She's a
queen,
queen. Yeah.
total queen. I'm like, my God, she is stunning.
I don't know why. I saw that movie in theaters probably like 5 times. I'm not even kidding. I don't know why. It was maybe there
I
wasn't
don't know
more
what.
out, but I feel like I just went over and over with people who either hadn't seen it or like, yeah, you want to go see it again? Sure, let's go do it. Like that
Yeah,
had a pull on me. I
that
don't
had
know.
us, and I don't know why. Like when I rewatched it, I'm going, I don't get it, but I love it. You had
Wanda
oh
Sykes.
my gosh,
Wanda
it was.
Sykes is
I was
everything.
okay. I was just about to
Everything
say
in that
Wanda
movie.
Sykes was the perfect
So good.
side funny character.
Yes.
And when she's like, "Fix your hair, you look like a damn cockatoo," and there's so many iconic lines from that movie because of her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for my 2000s rom coms. I really am.
What a good choice, though. Like, that's one that doesn't get enough credit. I mean, no
No,
hate on the
it's
ones that everybody
awesome.
goes to, but like that one's a gem for sure.
That is a gem for
All
sure.
right,
And my
well,
husband is so sweet and supportive. He'll just be like, okay, have fun watching this. Or he'll be like,
oh,
I get it. I get it. Sometimes you just want to get it out of your system. Like
hmm,
I've just, I've done that where I'm like, I'm caving in. I'm doing it. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
yes, yes.
I want those jeans and I want to go to Greece. Is that so hard?
Girl, I want my Greece summer,
I
okay?
want my
I
Greece summer.
want my Costas or whatever. Like I want it.
My
I
Costa.
want my Greek family to like embrace me. I want it all. I want it all.
I
I want
want
all
it
the
all.
good Greek food. I want everything.
Yes. Oh.
All right, last question for you, and it may be one of the shows you just mentioned, but if you could like live a day in your life where you are just in a millennial show, like
Oh my
you're
God.
either like maybe you're like just a side character or whatever, but you're like going through it with them and stuff, like what show would you choose?
And this is like a show that I would like create or a show that already exists.
Show that already exists. Yeah.
Ooh, that I feel like kind of like defines like me in this season of life or like
Yeah, it could be that, or just like I just kind of want to like live in the world of Gilmore Girls for a while because it's like cozy and
oh,
inviting, or
okay.
whatever floats your little boat, girl. You interpret it however you want.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for explaining it a bit more because I think I was thinking of something different. Gosh, I do kind of feel like in a way I may not have like a specific show or movie. I could say just like The Devil Wears Prada, just have a day in the big city
Yes.
um and just be that girl, for like a
Mm-hmm.
day. Like I think that would be pretty wild to experience. And I totally understand the how influential those movies and shows are because I think that's a big reason why we even look into that lifestyle, right? Because it's like
Definitely.
it's what we grew up with, and it's attached to so many great things from fashion to food to boys to going out with your girlfriends and getting fancy drinks and like and all that. It's like yeah, you're like I just want to like have that for like a day,
Yes. Just to
for
see what
those
it's
who
like.
didn't get to pursue that. Because I know people who have, and right, and it's just for a season in life. If you get to experience it, that's awesome. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's so cool. Because I do think it's fun to experience at least once in your life for
Oh, for
sure.
sure.
Um,
Definitely.
but I could definitely see, maybe the disappointment of either not being able to pursue it because the reality sets in and it's a lot bigger than you anticipate it, or you
Mm.
are living it and you're miserable because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
The friendships aren't deep. The guys are awful. And, that is the maybe darker side to it. But I also know too people who've lived the big city life for a little bit and they had the best time. So
Aww.
it's all out there for us. So
Aw. Great answers. Great answers. We love it. We love it. Well, without further ado, let's kick off some of our uh, debunking, if you will, of ideas and mindsets that millennial shows and movies gave us that just maybe aren't quite real life.
yeah.
So I've got a long list here. We don't need to do all of them. We've probably kind of touched a little bit on them. And Virginia, I'm sure you'll have some throughout the way that come up, and we'll go on our own little tangents like we always do. We're here for it. But one of the ones I've got over here on my list is that you'll have tons of free time before and after work and school. So as a high schooler, or just as an adult in general, you can just wake up the show that comes to mind first and foremost for me, I guess there's two. So the first one that comes to mind, I'm a big Gilmore Girls fan. That would be the world that I would, if I could, that or Harry Potter. But totally different, two very different worlds. But if I could just like be somewhere for a day, like immerse myself, that would be it. But anybody who's watched Gilmore Girls knows Lorelai and Rory must get up at like 4 a.m. or something because the amount of time they spend, looking at clothes and saying all their little quippy things in the kitchen about coffee and we're not cooking, here's a Pop-Tart. And then all of a sudden they're walking around the Stars Hollow town for what seems like hours. And then they're in Luke's for a bajillion hours. And then Rory's gonna casually go to the bus stop that she has to go to take to Chilton, and it's like it's not realistic, but it's great. It makes for great TV. The other one that I think maybe perhaps more millennial, well, Gilmore Girls is huge, so I'm not saying more millennials will get this over Gilmore Girls, but another one that I think a lot of people will get is Friends. How much time do you see them just sitting in Central Perk, shooting the shit, coffee, no rush, nowhere to be, nothing to have to do? And sure, they all had jobs, roughly, but like, when? I mean, you did see them at work occasionally, but like, you're all just hanging out there before work and no one's got to go catch the subway or taxi or this or that or whatever. Not realistic. Sounds great. And Virginia and I have talked about in previous episodes how there were seasons of our lives where we were living more reactive, where like, get up, get the Dunkin', hurry up, go through traffic, get to work, be in a horrible mood, and there's my start to my day kind of thing.
Yep.
And that's kind of how it really is for a lot of people, especially in their early to mid 20s, when you're finding your footing and you're realizing what it's like to have like the start of a career. Granted, high school, I realize it looks a little different. You're not working a 40-hour week or something, but it also is not necessarily like, I'm just going to get up early and talk to so-and-so and do this, and I'll go run an errand for my mom, and then this, and then, I'll take the bus into town, and that's great, and whatever. Like, it also doesn't quite look like that either. So.
No, it doesn't. And it kind of tells me a few things. One, you have to be constantly entertained by somebody.
Yeah.
Like, you need someone to like fill in those gaps. And then it's like, well, that's not healthy. Like, you're gonna get through life most of the time, me, myself, and I. Like, you're the one who has to like get yourself going in the morning to get to your, your job or like, whatever responsibilities like you have. So it's like to depend on like, well, I can't, start my day unless I'm, having a 2-hour coffee with my friend before, starting work, or, I'm over at their apartment eating cereal, before I'm going to work. It's like that, like, never happened, at all. So it's just interesting how like nobody could just be by themselves, for these blocks of time, throughout the day. And so I'm not really sure what the message was with any of that back then. Maybe it was just to keep things fun and lighthearted and just to show like, this just is how it is, with friends and, or like, a mother and a daughter. But I'm just kind of like, well, no, because when I was in high school, I had to be at the bus stop by like 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
I also took the bus after school. And then when I was in my 20s, Caitlin, like you were saying, like, I already was living a reactive, chaotic life. When would I have had time in the morning, to go over to a friend's house or to meet up with a friend? And then I think about like all the other things like after work to go meet up, with your coworker for a drink. Like, I know that happens, but it didn't happen very often because people have lives.
Right.
And then also too, like, I hate to say it, but like, it's very shallow, the connection, because you're more than likely, this is what it showed in the movies and shows, that you would go out with this coworker to have a few drinks. All right, so you have to get like tipsy from your long, stressful day at work.
Mm-hmm.
You're just talking shit, right? There's no growth, there's no deep conversations, and not to say that needs to happen all the time, but it's like that'd be kind of sad if that was your life over and over again. Again, that's why I'm saying like it's great to have a season. Great's not the word, but it's more like it's appropriate to like
Mm-hmm.
have a season like that in your life, especially when you're younger and
Mm-hmm.
you're navigating life and everything, but hopefully has a shelf life for you because I'm thinking about it like now I'm married, I have a family, I can't even imagine like doing most of those things. I just happened to like do that with a coworker of mine though on Friday, totally unplanned. There was like so much spontaneity with it that I had amazing energy from it. And so like I definitely think it's really good to do it every now and then.
Yeah.
But like if you have to depend on it all the time and you're really not like solving anything, you're just kind of digging yourself like this, deeper hole.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, well, it loses its cuteness after a while of doing that. But that's what I also grew up with. It was always meeting up with coworkers after work
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
knocking back a few drinks and maybe trying to hook up with somebody or I'm just like thinking how stressful that would be.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I know for a fact you don't feel good the next morning because I've
Right.
done it and I'm like, I feel like shit the next morning. So how can this be something that's like on
Is like
repeat?
normal for people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you think about too how different life looks. If you're listening or watching and you're in your early, mid, late 20s, I would say early or mid 20s, probably more. Maybe you are doing stuff like this, and that's okay. Like
Mhm.
I do think it can be a rite of passage to have seasons like that
Yes.
in life. But I will say, as someone who's kind of on the other side of it, when you are in your 30s, life looks different,
Hmm.
and that's not a bad thing. And it's gonna look different depending on the person, or the individual. But life hopefully looks different now than it did, 5, 10 years before, and that's
Yeah.
okay. The time you have is different. The way that you get enjoyment out of spending the free time you have looks different, and so you're
Yeah.
not out to just go get tipsy or try to post the best selfie on
Yeah.
whatever social media platform suits your fancy, and it looks different.
Hmm.
So yeah, love that. Totally agree with you, Virginia. um that said, I was so envious, and I wanted to be on that couch at Central Perk. I wanted to sit and hang
I
and hear
know.
Rachel's gossip and talk about Ralph Lauren and see what
Yes.
Joey was auditioning for, and all the things, all the things. But
Hmm.
another one we've got on our list here is high school. So we're going a little bit back. We were talking high school and adulthood for that last one. High school will be fun. Now, high school has fun moments, but high school will be fun, and any problems or drama will be neatly tied up in a bow. And anybody who's bullied, it'll be okay. Like, everybody's gonna rally, and like, cliques are maybe a thing, but like, we're still gonna all come together, and like, it's gonna be okay. Like, within half an hour to an hour and a half. And some great examples of this are Clueless. I love Clueless. But, Cher definitely had a growth journey, and we love her for that. But the popular girl does not always, become the girl that befriends the nerdy skateboarder later in life. The one that she was saying, like, as if, and things like that. Like, there's things like that just don't happen in real life. Mean Girls. Not everybody gets the things they deserve. Justice is not always served in high school or just ever in life,
Yeah.
really. And we all know that deep down. But when you're, you know, 14 watching Mean Girls, you're like, this is what's around the corner in high school? What? At least that's what I thought. I can't speak for everybody, but I was pretty pumped.
I
And
was pretty pumped.
I was pretty pumped. Okay, I'm just
Oh my
saying.
gosh.
Saved by the Bell. Now that may be a little bit more Gen X, but I definitely watched some of that when I was a kid, and you know, God love him. But who's the nerd on the show?
Oh, it's not
His name.
because the actor is Dustin Diamond.
Yes.
He plays
Screech.
Screech.
I was gonna be so mad at myself if I couldn't remember it because the audacity of forgetting the name of Screech. How dare you, Caitlin? But the odds of Screech and captain of the football team being in the same friend group, pretty slim. Having everything be okay at the end, you know, when there's a lot of heavy stuff going on. I think of shows like Glee, where I mean they tackled all kinds of stuff from, you know, gosh, there were things like eating disorders, and there were a lot of mental health issues, and there were, you know, just a wide variety of things. And it's like, yeah, we're just gonna sing a song or two and get the beat going, and pretty soon Mr. Schuster is gonna get us all dancing, and we'll be fine. Do 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 do. And like, it sounds great. And I'm obviously not here saying, what, you mean fiction isn't real? I'm not saying that, you guys. Please know that. Like, I'm not that naive, and neither is Virginia. We're just saying, you know, these wonderful ideas that shows and movies kind of gave and continue. And we love it because it is escapism. We realize that. But
Yes.
it also kind of does set that false pretense of like, oh, yeah, that's not going to happen to me. And that's okay.
Yes. There's another show I thought of when you were listing off Boy Meets World.
Yes.
Which that show to me is just
It's
gold, absolute gold. Um, Also, Sister Sister with Tia and is it Tamara?
Tamara. Tia and
Tamara,
Tamara.
you,
Yeah.
Maori.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I adored them in that show. And Lisa Landry, who played the mother, everything about that show was great. And then their brother went on to do Smart Guy. So
Okay.
he had his own show. I love that show too. And there was an episode in that show they touched on, because that would have been late 90s. So like the dangers of the internet. Okay. So like the internet was, you know, new, and how people were using it, and was already bringing awareness about adults who were on there and chatting with underage kids. And so that was an episode in Smart Guy, and I remember it. And so like, yeah, these shows, even though it does get wrapped up in a bow, or it's even a to be continued. How many shows have we watched where they aired on a Friday night and we had to wait a whole week later for the part 2 episode? Those were great. I don't even know how we could do that today. Like, I would lose my mind.
Gen Z, we love you, but you could never. You could
Could
never.
never.
My
Like,
goodness.
wow, the
Nope.
amount of patience. And you couldn't hop online to watch a YouTube video that broke down that episode. And before you know it, now you're like sharing this with thousands of other people, of sharing conspiracy theories and like what's going to happen next. None of that existed. The only thing you might have had were your best friend or a few friends you got on the phone with, or an online chat, and be like, did you watch? I mean, it was just so much simpler back then.
Big time.
It really would have been cool though, actually, to have that for some of those shows. Looking back at it, like just to be able to go like pull up a YouTube video breaking down like this episode of Saved by the Bell or this episode of Boy Meets World, and
Yeah.
then you go to school and talk about it. But like, we even did that, like, you know, any movie or show, like the next day, you know, you were talking to your friends about it. I remember Titanic when it was circulating around the school. And it was just like the talk, of the school talking about Titanic and anyone who saw it, like,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, wow, that's hilarious. When I was a teenager, I watched a lot of the reality shows on MTV.
Okay.
Those are god awful. Those are all garbage that I loved. I freaking loved, and they were awful.
Yeah.
From the show Next, Room Raiders. These are awful.
Oh my gosh. Date My Mom. Did you ever watch
Date my,
Date
these are
My
awful.
Mom? Oh,
Like what? And
it is
I could
such
not
a
look
cringe,
away.
but it's so good.
And then reality love shows from Flavor Flav to Bret Michaels, Rock of Love. I was like, y'all are catching diseases left and right. Like,
Right.
what is happening?
Right,
I was like watching one train wreck after another, and I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my God, like, this is insane. And we're being told, this is love. And we see it. Why do we have shows like The Bachelorette? Like, that's a whole other pop culture phenomenon,
Oh, for
convincing
sure.
women, like, this is what love is. The guy you're going after who's swapping spit with 15 other girls, somehow you're going to be the special one. Oh my God.
And people wonder why pick-me girls are a thing. Hello.
Hello.
Fighting to get the affection of one person, and there's how many other women in the room? Like, okay.
Like, really? Or how about going to the club and it's all dark, but the light is shined on you, and it's that DJ that's like, she's the one, and you get picked out in the crowd. It's like, what? And like,
So special.
I am so special. I am so seen. Ridiculous, just ridiculous. But like, those shows, for sure, I would watch. And then there was a show that I watched on the CW. It came out like, I don't know, maybe like going into freshman year of high school. It was Supernatural.
Oh, that's a great
The brother,
show.
the Winchester brother.
That's one of
And
my best friends. It is her
oh,
all-time favorite. Any chance she gets, she's trying to introduce new people to that show. She's obsessed.
well, then I was your friend, because anyone who knew me back then knew, like, Virginia is obsessed with this show. I'm probably gonna end up watching this with her, because I would ask every Christmas for the season DVD.
Okay.
I was the obsession was unhealthy. But if you looked at the brothers, you would understand why. But the show, I didn't go really past season like 6. I understand it went way on later, and I kind of hear like mixed things about it. Like, it just got really repetitive, and it was just really to keep the show going. But those first 5 seasons of that show, it aired like every Thursday night, like at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And I haven't really opened up about like my teenage years, but they weren't the best years. And when I talked about having something to escape from reality, that was my show.
Okay.
So the world just got to pause for an hour every Thursday night at 8, 9 o'clock on the CW. And it was like a ritual. Like, nobody knew to bother me or to interfere, because I would like destroy you. So it was like making my popcorn. I would set the living room up. Like, it was almost like a little OCD, but it was like, this was my time. And this was just my time to escape from reality. So I thought about it too, like, oh my gosh, if I ever had a chance to like share that, with the creators of Supernatural, and be like, listen, you created a show that got me through some of my hardest times, my teenage years, and I just needed something to not think about my current life. And for whatever reason, it was that show. And I get that's why people are like that with music, with comfort movies and shows. It's like, but yeah, that was, the obsession was unreal. But I did love it for what it was.
Understandably, it's so good to have some sort of escapism, and like you said, I mean, music can do that, literature can do that, watching a show or movie, like the arts, any form of art can be just very therapeutic to have something that just kind of helps ground you in something a little bit not your everyday reality is nice.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought up book reading because
Yeah.
I did mention earlier on our podcast that I wasn't a big book reader growing up, so it was mostly like shows and movies and music, but book reading for people growing up, like you, Caitlin.
Neat.
I know you're
Big time.
a book reader. It was like it was that chance to escape from
Yeah.
reality, and so
I was the girl who, from the time I was probably 7 or 8 years old, I would bring a book. We'd go to we ate out a lot at restaurants when I was a kid. Nothing like fancy, but like, oh, we'll go to Denny's, we'll go to Perkins. I don't know, like just random whatever. Or if we were on vacation and we'd go out to dinner, like it didn't matter. I would bring a book. I would bring like a Goosebumps, or I don't know. I would, or I'd find some like new series and I'd be like, I'm just hooked. I want to buy them all, and I always
oh,
brought them with me. And it was a great comfort for sure.
yeah.
Two of the little debunking myth lesson things over here came to
Yeah.
mind for me based on what you said a little bit ago. So I think you teed it up actually pretty well. One of the things you had said was I can't remember. I'm having like I'm trying to think of exactly what you said that made me think of this, but you had said something about like having maybe something boring that turns into something amazing and everything. So um, one of the ones I have on here, you're secretly magic or royal, so your boring life is about to change. So I think of like the Princess Diaries, which I
Yeah.
know is based on a book series. I understand that. I also think of Harry Potter, which is also
Oh,
based
yeah.
on a book series. I mean, it could be books. I know I'm mainly talking movies and shows here, but it could also be literature related.
Yeah.
How many times did I, or maybe you, I don't know, Virginia, or anyone listening, think like, yeah, like something amazing is gonna happen to me, or I'm actually related to like a prince, or whatever. And like my parents just haven't told me yet, but it's gonna be a thing. Um, Still waiting on my Hogwarts letter,
I was
as
gonna say I'm still waiting over here, but I do believe.
everybody else. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
for sure, for
that's
sure.
so funny. It's so true. It was like either possessing some kind of supernatural power or magic,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, or exactly that. Like, you were part of a royal family, or that you will meet a prince,
Yeah,
royal prince, and then start your whole life, that way. Oh my
big
gosh,
time.
so true.
Big time for sure. And then another one I've got on here, um, and you did talk about The Devil Wears Prada, and we love it. We love this movie. This is
Oh,
a fabulous movie. Slightly unrealistic. Your dream job is going to be
mm,
pretty easy to land. Now, I'm not
yeah,
saying that Anne Hathaway's character didn't bust her butt and work really hard to get where she was, but she had what little to no fashion experience whatsoever.
right.
Didn't really have any connections in real life. She would not have had a shot in hell to work with Miranda Priestley. Let's be
Yeah,
real, okay? That job
yeah.
would have gone to, one of Miranda's assistants cousins or something who
Mhm.
happened to like brush elbows with her at a dinner party and charm her or something. It would not
Yeah.
have gone that way. I also think of going off of reality shows. And we also have learned that a lot of the reality shows we loved were not reality. The Hills, I was such a
Oh,
Hills fan. And, we've learned, of course, since that, like, so much of Lauren's Vogue internship was, like, pre planned. She already had the job when she went in for the interview. And then there's, like, Heidi, who just decides she's gonna quit fashion school and drop out, and oh yeah, now I'm working at the PR firm of my dreams and I'm getting into all these clubs with these A-listers, and this is like so normal, and like we know that wasn't real. I've seen interviews where Heidi Montag has talked about how, like, yeah, that was all totally made up. But two, we also know that that's not how it works. And it is kind
Mm,
of sad because it's like you think, oh yeah, like for example, I really wanted to work in the publishing industry. I
yes.
would still love to. But when I was in college, I applied. I sent all kinds of letters. I tried to meet with people, this and that. And it is a super competitive,
Hmm.
understandably so, industry to work
Yeah.
in. And I just didn't ever have my in. And that's okay. Like, I'm still never say never. But it's just one of those things where it's like it's not quite that simple unless you have a shit ton of luck.
Hmm.
So yeah.
It does sometimes really come down to luck and who you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Can we also talk too about like some of these apartments that we saw a lot of these
Oh
people
my
living
gosh.
in?
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. That is also, yeah. These are amazing apartments, fully furnished with nice furniture, and totally unrealistic financially for a young 20 something year old to acquire. Like, no. that, especially in this city, no, you are lucky
Mhm.
to, the reality of any of that, if you want to come close to any of that, is living with like six other people in a closet
Right. In a studio
in a studio.
with a
That is
shared
how you,
bathroom in the hallway of the apartment
yeah,
building. Like,
that's how you come close
mhm.
to that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just so, again, like I can't help but to think like this is part of the programming, and people go and set out for that and try to pursue that, and then they end up in crippling financial debt. Um,
Yeah.
because again, we are being programmed like this is the good life. This is the life you need to strive for.
Mhm.
This will bring you happiness and joy and fulfillment. All your problems will be solved. When really we're affording a life that we can't afford, especially now these days.
Oh yeah.
That was 15, 20 or so years ago, when the cost of living was very different. But still couldn't even come close to obtaining that unless mommy and daddy helped you, which there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. Um, or you have some rich aunt or grandma that passed you down a penthouse in New York, and that's how you were able to have one of those
Mhm.
places. It's like,
Mhm.
again, this goes back to like financial support from
Yeah.
family, which is
Yeah.
a real thing, that people don't have. Connections, somebody you know, maybe it's somebody who's like, hey, I could use a house sitter for the summer for 3 months in my penthouse if you like to do that. It happens. It happens. Or you have that rich relative who is able to hook you up, or, generational wealth
Yeah.
literally passes you down, a nice place. It's like, other than that, people are trying to make it out on their own and
Definitely.
can't even
Definitely.
come close to that for starting off.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think of Sex in the City, Carrie Bradshaw. Like, she's an icon, even though she is like a
She
character
is
people love to
iconic.
hate. At the same
Yeah.
time, there's all kinds of a lot of mixed opinions about her going out and so
Yes.
on the internet. But you're telling me you're a columnist and you're living in this. Granted, it's not like ginormous or anything, but fairly nice, fairly safe. And don't, I'm sorry, don't tell me rent control. Okay, we don't buy that for a second. Rent control. How many? I'm pretty sure I heard that Monica and Rachel's apartment on Friends was also rent control. I'm like, how many shows are gonna use this? Because that was not available to me when I was in Boston. All right, trust me, I tried. Like, don't tell me.
Rent control. I like to do the rent control. I'm sorry. What? That's not an option. I'm
No.
pretty sure it is.
Right. Yeah. So another thing, and obviously, you move to a cool new city, and you're like, this is a big life change. This is going to be a big deal for me, and it totally is. And we're not saying don't try. We're not saying don't have dreams or aspirations, or you can never afford this, but we're just saying like fresh off the, like, right off the bat, you probably can't. If you can, that's cool, more power to you, but just, like, realistically speaking, hate to break it to you, kids.
And
Um,
maybe take the opportunity, especially if you're listening to this. So I'm just gonna assume that you listen to Talking Blondes and you follow us. Like Caitlin and I are really big on like, just asking yourself questions like, why do you want this?
yeah.
Like what are you hoping to gain out of this? What will this bring you happiness? Will this bring you joy? Like it shouldn't really matter what age you are. Anytime you want to make a big life change, like we are huge encouragers for asking yourself questions and like
Yeah.
getting aligned with what you really want. Because if it's to prove something or to like, because again, like this is what you saw growing up in TV shows and movies or read about it in books, like, this is the life that you want to live and that you want to have. Like, there is nothing wrong with that. But that tells me that that's more external than internal. And that external will only last for so long. So again, like I love for anybody to be able to experience that once in their life. That's why Caitlin and I actually did that individually. We had our own journeys with moving to like a city and out of our home state, and we can talk about that in another episode. Like it does so much for you as a person, growth, really finding out what you're made out of and being on your own 2 feet, away from your comforts and your security, blanket. Like I'm such an advocate for it. We both are. But it does come with the reality of things. So we
I
can
think
maybe talk on that
I
too.
think
But
we need to make that an episode soon.
yeah, I think
Spoiler
so.
alert, I'm just spitballing here, but I'm like really excited to talk more about that.
Oh,
Yeah, ditto what Virginia said, big time. Ask yourself why you really want this. And I can think of people from my past who you talk to them about like just their dreams and their aspirations, and just sadly, I should say, the knee jerk reaction you get is, well, I was like a nerd in high school, or I was overweight, and I just want to show them all like who I am now and how great I'm doing now, and like I'm not I'm not here to shame you, because like, okay, everybody has a journey, and I understand that the pain from things like not feeling good enough, not feeling like you're your best self. I totally get that there's all sorts of pain, and there are a lot of fears and many things that come with that.
hmm
And as to, how do I overcome this? But that might not be the most healthy reason to go about making such a big life change. And it's
yeah.
probably not going to bring you like the longest term happiness and quality happiness at that. So,
I'm really glad you brought that up, Caitlin, because I feel like that's applicable to romantic relationships. So people who may, were not the prettiest people or the nerdiest and didn't have a whole lot of luck in the dating game, right? Or weren't very successful, with relationships. Um, or if for a woman, from a woman's perspective, you're going to be saved by some man who's just going to swoop in and, all your problems and all your worries, like go away. I'm can think of so many shows and movies that set up that whole stage for that.
I was gonna say it's on my list. That's a great segue.
This is a
A,
great
a
segue.
popular or a popular person or a person of status
Mhm.
can take someone who is of lesser status or lesser
Yeah,
popularity, give them a glow up, and all of a sudden their lives are gonna be complete and it's gonna be
yeah,
great. We've seen it before when people will do the whole setup of like, I'm gonna pretend to date you, like
Yeah.
drive me
Mhm.
crazy. I don't know if anybody that is a underrated, big time
It
underrated.
is. It is.
Melissa Joan Hart,
Yep.
um, Britney Spears, of course, did the whole Drive Me Crazy soundtrack,
Yep.
amazing. But yes, we've seen it in She's All That, where the girl she's got a ponytail and she wears glasses. Ew, like, oh God forbid, what a creep. They make her
Yeah.
into this like beautiful butterfly, and
Mhm.
and we do know those movies. We realize that there is this like revelation of like, yeah, but I need to be my real self. Like we get that, we understand that. However, I think a lot of us, especially girls, watch things like that, and we're somewhat even subconsciously convinced that like there is a way to make that happen. Like I'm gonna have a glow
Oh,
up, even though nobody
yeah.
said glow up back in the late 90s or early
The
2000s, even later.
makeover
Makeover, exactly. I'm gonna have a
for
makeover,
it's for makeover.
and everything's gonna change for me for the
Yeah.
better. And it does not happen in that way.
Well, it becomes such a chase um,
Mm-hmm.
that we experience in our adulthood. So, like, whether it's makeup or makeover or glow up, like we're constantly chasing to fix something
Yeah.
um, in our outer selves, right? It was never about internal. It was never about like healing, self growth, development, because that stuff is boring and it doesn't make for great TV.
Yeah.
But showing a drastic transformation always makes for good TV
Yeah,
and
definitely.
great movies, iconic movies, to this day. No, I can't really think about from my childhood a girl who was like, I'm going to become the best version of me by reading self development growth books and have this coming of age, journey. And it's just so, like impactful and profound. No, I'm thinking of Mia Thermopolis. When the glasses get broken, you broke my glasses.
Straighten
You
your
broke my
hair.
glasses.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna think of that. Now, that's the whole point though to this is that it's a rite of passage. These are normal things for young people, young girls to gravitate towards, okay? I'm just saying, again, like with everything, there's a shelf life. And hopefully you get to a point in your life where you're just expanding that. If
Mm-hmm.
you're already doing that at a young, impressionable age, that is amazing. I remember talking to a girl where she said, I just never understood any of that growing up.
Mm.
I just
Good
did
for
not
her.
get it. I know. I
Good for
just
her.
thought that is so freaking cool. I love that for you.
Yeah.
But for those of us that, we're definitely like the bubblegum pop princesses and the Disney, watching, shows and reading magical books and watching, the rom-coms, it's like, yes, I'm very happy that that was my upbringing. Yes, did it shape certain things that I had to maybe unlearn as an adult woman? Yeah, absolutely. But it's not anything to like, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess like poo-poo. That's not a word, but that's more of like, I'm not gonna sit here and wallow, basically, that like, oh man, I wish I, listened to that Tony Robbins when I was 15. No, okay. I wanted to have sleepovers with my girlfriends, watch Lifetime movies.
Mm-hmm.
Those were scary, by the way. Lifetime movies, they're scary and they're meant to be. Like, there was this one about middle school girls, and I forgot what it was called, but like I remember being like, oh my God, like this is scary. This is about bullying and what the girls would do. And I'm thinking, this is awful. And then there was one about like another movie about a young teenage girl who gets involved with an older teenage guy, and like they're, STDs are going around the school, and I'm going, oh my God, like what is wrong with you people? Like I was so scared for my life, but it's Scared Straight. It was like Lifetime movies Scared Straight because I remember going, oh, I will not do any of that because I don't want that to happen to me.
You know what it's giving? It's giving Mean Girls, don't have sex or you will die. Like
Pretty much.
that
That's
is
like I
that
was
is it.
terrified. I was like, no, no. And I would watch them like, I had a TV in my room and watching these Lifetime movies were definitely part of my upbringing, for sure. And I'm just like, these are
Ooh,
maddening.
big
Um,
time.
they're intense, but yeah, I don't even know if Lifetime movies is a thing anymore. Um,
Well, if not, I'll
they
be sad.
were.
I'll be very sad. Hmm.
But I did watch Desperate Housewives.
Same,
Love that
same.
show. I still love it. I rewatched it not too long ago, and I was like, I still freaking love this show. It got a little like out of hand, I think, as the show progressed, but like those first few seasons were so amazing.
I was obsessed. I will say though, I'm glad you brought that show up because even shows like that definitely glamorized
It
suburban
did
life.
for sure.
You're going to
It
be the
did.
hot suburban either
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom or you're going to be the one that's jogging and all the men just like drool and like you're going to have the hot guy who's mowing your lawn like it just obviously we know that this is not everyday life, but I remember like 12, 13-year-old me being like, wow, like my neighborhood's pretty boring compared to this, but I want to move
Yeah.
there.
Yes, Wisteria Lane, like such beautiful homes and beautiful people with
Yes.
dark, dark secrets.
And
But
multi-million dollar homes easily, like
yeah,
whew,
all the same street,
right, for sure.
right next door to one another. But it was a pretty dark show. Definitely had some heavy themes. I mean, the main gal who was the narrator of the show, who did an
Yeah.
amazing job. I mean, she committed. I don't
Yeah.
know if we can say it on our podcast. I mean, we probably can, but
Yeah.
that was right off the bat, that show. Like, this
Yes.
is what you're getting into. And,
Yes.
so it was a pretty dark show, but it was very creative.
Big
Very
time.
creative. It was
And
like a modern daytime soap opera. Oh, that's another thing I used to watch. Soap operas with my mom, like after school, because I had to go back with her to, she worked with my dad, when he had like an office, when he had his landscaping company. So I would have to go out there with her. And so you got only the local channels, on the little TV that was in
okay.
the office. And so you were forced to kind of watch like soap operas or the Maury show.
Oh
Um,
God.
yeah, exactly. Oh God is right. And I would watch the soap opera, which I think my favorite one was One Life to Live, and that was crazy.
Okay.
So crazy. I still remember like this guy, his name is Todd, and he was you know, he was raped by a woman so she could have his baby. So she drugged him. And
Oh
I'm just going like
my.
this, like this is so interesting.
What's
Like,
gonna happen?
what's gonna happen? Like, oh my gosh, terrible. And
No.
then the Maury
No.
show would come on after.
You are not the father.
You
You
are
are
not
the
the
father,
father.
Todd.
You
Todd,
are
you
the
are.
father.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, like, what?
Oh shoot. Oh my gosh. I
Oh
was a
my
General
God.
Hospital girl my sophomore
General
year.
Hospital. Okay.
They had like this character named Sunny. I don't know if he's still on or not, but he was like the lead of like this kind of like a mob type thing. I
Hmm.
don't know what he did or didn't do. Apparently he was like good, like he did it for good, but he was like also bad and I don't know. And
Oh,
he had
yes.
this like right hand man named Jason, and Jason fell in love with Sunny's sister, but Sunny's sister was off limits, and it was like no, but they have to be together. Like this is love. This is love
This
for
is
sure.
love.
It was
This
it
is
was a whole
love.
thing. It was a whole thing. Girl, I could talk and talk about this stuff for sure.
Actually, you
Um,
brought up another, I don't, not maybe trope, maybe that might be the word, but mobsters.
Did you ever watch Mob Wives?
Yes, I did. Yeah, yeah.
Team
So like,
Drita. Team Drita. Loved her.
so mobster life, which is real life for
Yeah.
for people
Oh, yeah.
who are in the mob, related to the mob. There's tons of movies that I loved. I mean, I love Goodfellas. That's one of my favorites, or Scarface. I mean, these are very movies that definitely glamorize and romanticize, mafia and mobster life. Talk about another thing for a woman, to get in with the bad boy who was in the mob. Like, what? What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But it was an attraction. Like, ooh, I
Yeah.
can meet a mob guy one day, but like we can't be together because I would go against his mob family. But
Right.
we end up being together. But it's so
Right. But
um.
I'm a good girl and I can change, I can fix him, which is another thing I have on my list
Yeah.
of this mindset of like, oh, the good girl and the bad boy and they're polar opposites, but really the bad boy just needs her to melt his heart and or
Cold,
it's
cold
like
heart.
come on.
Because he could be a vampire.
Okay, Edward.
This is what I'm saying, though. It's like you're exactly right, Caitlin. The good girl, bad boy trope. He's on the wrong side of the tracks.
Right,
He's a poor boy. He comes from that broken family home, and she's the privileged upper middle class girl who doesn't really know real sacrifice or hardship.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
want to put a mystical spin on it. Yes, he's either a werewolf, a vampire, or a hybrid. He's never like a silly one like a leprechaun or a troll. No, he's the hot, sexy, mystical beast.
I think I want him to be a leprechaun. I think
I want to
this
be.
is the movie. This is our next venture after talking blondes. Is we move on to.
I love him. He's Rumpelstiltskin, and we belong together. No, you will never have that. Ever, but you'll have over that 6-foot tall, dark drink of water, who's either the bad boy or the vampire, and like, yeah, you can't help but to be like, man, my guy has to be so special.
Yes.
He can either glitter, or he can
talk to anybody else, but he talks to me.
Yes.
I'm special. But I don't know why, because I'm so boring and I'm so relatable.
And I have a ponytail and I wear glasses.
Glasses and a ponytail. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, this is great. I'm
can't.
so glad you had that on your list because it is so true.
It is.
You can even have a normal guy who just loves you and respects you. Like, no, it was either, not to mention pirates. I know, pirates.
How did we not talk about pirates until an hour and something in? What?
Pirates. What? Captain Jack Sparrow, of course. Like every girl at 12 and 13 years old was going, what are these feelings? So Captain Jack Sparrow.
What are these feelings?
What are these feelings? Like
Disney movie.
What's happening? Mom, Dad, stop looking at me. And then there was Peter Pan. I know there's been many adaptations, but there was the 2003 Peter Pan where you had
Jeremy,
the actor.
His name's Jeremy, right?
Yes, he played Peter Pan.
Yes, I knew what you mean.
And he was adorable. I mean, so many preteen girls had a massive crush on him. But this is hilarious. I've also talked to other girls at that age who were watching and was like, no, it wasn't Peter Pan. It was Captain Hook. Because he was played by the same actor who played in Harry Potter with the long blonde hair, the father.
He played Draco's dad in Harry Potter.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
The actor's name is it James Isaac? Something like that.
I believe so, yeah.
I think he played
right.
Captain Hook in Peter Pan. And for other girls, it wasn't Peter Pan, it was Captain Hook.
so funny. Oh
And
my
I just think it's so
gosh.
funny because it's again that fantasy pirate trope, but it's the same, like, let me help this, this girl, this helpless girl, and
Yeah.
maybe, she comes from, royalty, or, now she's a slave on his ship, like, oh, slave.
A damsel in
She's a
distress.
damsel in distress with
Uh-huh.
this hunky pirate. Like, it's like,
Oh
oh my God.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. I
I used to watch
definitely.
a show called Black Sails. It was a show on Showtime.
Okay.
And it had exactly that whole dynamic of the young girl, who had a relationship with a very, very naughty pirate. Um, and they had this back and forth, and and they were terrible to each other, but they also made sweet, sweet love. And you're just going, all I know is you're a pirate.
Oh my gosh. Shiver me timbers.
And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's not what makes true love.
Right.
We know as adult women who are both in healthy, loving relationships that it's about your safe space, your best friend, someone who calms your nervous system. Do you know how many anxiety pills I would be on to be in a relationship like that, where they had me on edge all the time?
Could you
It'd be
imagine?
terrible.
Could you
It'd be
imagine?
terrible. Well, in my 30s, I'd be exhausted, first of
Going
all.
off to fight the Kraken, and you're like, okay, great. I'm just having an attack, but it's fine. You go do you. I hope I see you in like 6 months. It's fine. Whatever.
It's fine. It's
No,
fine.
on the Black
Oh my
Pearl, something like
gosh.
that.
Oh, and then I can think of one particular, because I know we were also talking about books. One particular author we grew up with and had so many movie adaptations from it for his books, Nicholas Sparks.
Oh my goodness.
He defined that whole our generation because
Yes.
so many movies came out during that time. And we both know The Notebook
Of course we do.
and how it's getting ripped to shreds these days.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
Yeah.
oh no,
Yeah, not the Notebook. Is nothing sacred anymore?
not The
Nothing.
Notebook, and you're
Not the
attacking this
Notebook.
too.
Not Noah and Allie. What is happening? What is
What
happening?
is happening? Now, I will say, and this is just my own opinion, but my whole take on that is that this is the classic that when you are with somebody, because like Allie had the fiance who was like a 10 out of 10, okay?
Yeah.
But he wasn't Noah.
Right.
And people have a very hard time wrapping their heads around that. Like, you have this amazing guy, forget Noah. And like, yeah, but like, we sometimes get caught up with perfectionism
Mm-hmm.
and what is good on paper,
Yeah.
not two people actually wanting to build a life together.
Right.
So, absolutely, he was a 10 out of 10. An amazing guy. It wasn't her guy.
Agreed.
And that's hard for people.
Yeah, and
Because
you can't
almost,
control who you are attached to.
Mhm.
I mean, you can maybe train your brain if it's an unhealthy attachment, sure.
Right,
But
right.
the fact that that was already like, that was part of her foundation.
That was part of her foundation, yeah.
You can't, it wouldn't matter who else walked in.
And she could have had this idyllic life, which would have followed exactly in her mother's footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that's not what she wanted,
Mm-hmm.
even though she had a great dad. And her mother even realized, I don't even deserve your father and his love.
Yeah.
But her mother got to have this idyllic life, and Allie got to grow up with that life. And her heart went to Noah.
Yeah. That's a good
And
point, girl.
so I understand the mixed messaging and people dissecting the movie and coming more from this place of like, they were toxic. And and I was like, they were 16 years old.
What do you expect?
What do you expect? And then when they're adults, Allie, they were both immature on how they were handling it. Absolutely. And she was cheating on her fiance with Noah. That's not okay.
Not a good look.
That's not okay. And, she wasn't womaning up and just admitting, like, this is not what I want. I want to be with Noah. Especially when Noah confronts her, is like, what do you want? I'm
Right.
like, I don't know. I'm just, I'm just a girl. It's like, oh my God. So yes, I understand there are some things, but it does, though. I still think it's a really great story. It's not perfect. It's full of flaws, human flaws, that sometimes we, don't want to accept. But
Yeah.
yeah, Nicholas Sparks was one huge writer of all those books. And then the movies, I mean, like one after another, it seemed
A
like a
Walk
Nicholas
to
Sparks.
Remember. Again,
Oh,
good girl,
oh,
bad boy, and like
oh,
he
Walk to
changes him. She
Remember.
changes him. It totally
Oh,
fixes him, like, oh.
oh, that's another trope, is sick people, or the sick person,
The
who's,
Fault in Our Stars. Oh,
oh,
oh.
great one.
Mhm.
Oh, great one.
Mhm.
But oh, Walk to Remember.
Mm.
Oh, he's like, oh,
Yes.
that's such a good one.
Oh my gosh, one of
Such
my
a good
very
one.
favorites for sure. Well, all right. So we have been holding out on a classic that
Collect.
Virginia brought to my attention, and it's not the first time I've been ashamed that I have neglected to add something to the list. Virginia, I'm gonna let you take this one away because I feel like this is like maybe save the last, best for last kind of thing. You have the
Okay.
floor, madam. Let's give him the last one here.
Well, before I go into this, let's just give a huge praise to Caitlin, for putting together the original list, and going through all of this. This has just been so great, and I think this is actually something we can leave off with, for our episode. But thank you, Caitlin, for even just taking the time to put the list together. I so appreciate you.
Of course.
All right, you guys, these two had a chokehold on millennial girls, including yours truly, Caitlin and Virginia. We give you Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen. These
Legends,
girls were legends,
big time.
absolute legends. If you want to know why we even had the Lizzie McGuires or any of them, it's because of Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Oh yeah. They walked so that Lizzie could run. Big time, for sure. Actually, their walking was still probably faster than Lizzie's running. And I'm not saying Lizzie
Right.
can't run, I'm just saying these girls can do it all. Like,
These girls could do it all, and they certainly did do it all. They had everything from, TV shows to movies to, clothing line, books. Yeah, they were just incredible. What came to mind when Caitlin and I were talking about doing this episode, and Caitlin was putting her list together, I was like, where did my love of travel come from? Why do I want to go to Paris and to Australia? And I don't know why I have this accent. But why? Where did this come from? It's not like I grew up with that kind of money or resources, or anybody in my family was like, hey, I'm taking y'all to Europe. Like, that's
right.
never happened to me. So I was like, where does this love come from? This desire? Yes, we have seen in a lot of our rom-coms of being in Paris, France, and and all of that. But it really came from Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, because they had these movies where these young preteen girls would go to some of the most beautiful places in the world, and exotic. And somehow everything was just taken care for them. If it wasn't their parents who could provide this, it was some rich relative, and
Oh yeah.
they don't want to get into some kind of, trouble. Because, they're two preteen girls who also are like detectives and sleuths, and, because like normal stuff. And then they will always find a cute guy, and
Every
who,
time.
every single time, every single time. And boy, do they set the bar so high that anytime I went on my basic ass family vacation trips, okay, I was always hoping to run into some kind of trouble, chaos, a boy. And I'm thinking, thanks, Mary Kay and Ashley. Super, super great. But yeah, and I added it to the list. Caitlin was all for it.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we're talking, Winning London, when they were in London and wanted to be fashion designers. And like Caitlin was saying, got to be fashion designers, like had no issues or obstacles whatsoever.
Sure.
How fantastic for them.
My favorite, although it's so hard to pick like a favorite,
There's
but
so many.
one of the ones that comes to mind is Passport to Paris.
Passport to Paris.
And I cringe even more now in my 30s, but it was cringe even then when I was a kid.
Oh, it's
like,
so cringy.
They're like, you mean we have to miss the spring fling to go to Paris?
Ashley had a very jam-packed social calendar. Okay, so she's going over it with her sister, and they're talking about all the things that they have coming up, from the pool party. Okay, something else too that they did. I never had a jam-packed social calendar like that when I was in middle school or high school.
Nope. It was anything extracurricular and then homework and bed. Like, that's it.
We got Kim's party, but let's not forget Justin's party, and then we have the pool party, and then I'm going, oh my gosh, like I'm totally missing out. And then you're right, Caitlin, it was like, we're gonna have to miss the spring fling, which makes me think of another movie they were in when they had to go to the Bahamas, not Hawaii, and their parents took them out in in the middle of winter, snowy winter, and they had to, like, be on their private jet and are told that we're not going Hawaii, girls. We're going to the Bahamas.
How did they do it? How did they survive? Really?
I mean, really, they are troopers. And then they go to the Bahamas, and Ashley's love interest, okay, who serenades her with, playing the guitar and singing, but he's a bit of a bad boy. He's into stealing ancient antiques. Because that's normal for a 14 to 15-year-old girl to have that kind of love interest. But he's also misunderstood, and he's frank.
He's edgy. He is so edgy, and that's what she needs. That's what she needs on this horrible, horrible trip that was done completely without any of her will or agreement to it.
She just found it so dreadful. Awful, just awful. I don't know how they survived. And our lips are sealed. They're on the witness protection program, okay? Because that's a thing.
Yes.
It is a thing, but like apparently that's like the norm. They're in Australia. But God, you guys, like, just wild. I know, like, looking back at it, made things adventurous and like fun and like different, but like I'm really thinking, well, gosh, if these girls can do it, certainly I can.
Hello, why can't we?
I haven't come close to most of that. I've been fortunate for a couple things, but my goodness, not even close. Not even remotely close, and I'm in my mid-30s.
Oh, I was so convinced anytime we went to the beach around summer vacation, this is it. Like, I better pick out the very best limited to tank top.
Limited to
some glitter shorts, okay, and some Billabong flip-flops. I'm about to meet the love of my summer love, perhaps my
Don't forget your puka shells.
Oh, girl, can't forget those. Absolutely.
Or the henna tattoos. That, for having that risque summer, so you get a low back henna tattoo.
Oh yeah. If you were a baddie, you got like the little braids with the beads.
Total bad.
Go to, I don't know, on a cruise or something. I did not. I was very jealous of those girls. They were like the real ones. They probably also had Spice Girls bikes. Okay. So Virginia, those are your people. But
those are my people.
But honestly, no, I was always convinced, I'm gonna, like, this is it, and never happened.
Never happened. So Caitlin, I have another story with our mutual friend Amanda. This is going to be hilarious. So Amanda, if you're watching and listening, this is so great. So Amanda and I, we were able to, so for those who been watching our podcast since the beginning, Amanda is a mutual friend of Caitlin and Amanda and I have been long distance friends for 20 plus years. Oh my gosh, going on longer than that, almost 30. Oh, that's
Wow.
so weird.
That
That's
is
so weird.
weird.
Anyway, so we've known that our friendship is known to be long distance, more than anything. So we had to miss out on a lot from growing up and sharing all those experiences together. But, for two long distance friends, man, did it seem like though we were going through the same things like all the time. It was wild.
Aww.
We can maybe talk about that when she's a guest on our podcast. But we managed to do a spring break trip because Amanda also has family in Florida, and it just worked out perfectly. I think we were like 15 years old or somewhere around there, and it coordinated so perfectly that I would just join Amanda and her parents for a spring break trip. So my parents were very sweet. They met them halfway, and I remember joining them for their spring break. And Amanda and I did fall in love with these two guys at the beach. They were called Red Shorts and Blue Shorts because those are the swim trunks they wore. And we were dying. We were dying that we got these guys. And I remember like we were the rest of the day was just like in this, I can't even like really explain it. Like it just seems so surreal. Like time didn't exist. We're on this beach. These two guys that were like really attracted to and we were like really into. And then we had to leave. And we were hashing out a plan. Like, okay, we're coming back to this exact spot, like at the beach, and they're gonna be there, and like our fun adventure is gonna begin, right? And so Amanda's poor father had to hear about all about this from these two
Oh
15-year-old girls, probably like, for the love of God, please stop, because we were like obsessing. And we were like, okay, so we're gonna go back and we're gonna, just start like this epic spring break, adventure. And I'm secretly hoping that one of them is into antiquing, and because it would just be so fitting. And Amanda and I go back to the beach, and also knowing that these guys might be there, we took hours to get ready.
Of course.
Hours to
Of
get ready.
course. Absolutely.
To look exactly the same 15-year-old girls at the end of the day. And they weren't there. And we were devastated, Caitlin. Our hearts were torn out of our chest.
Oh my gosh. Trip
And
ruined. Trip
it was
ruined.
ruined. Guess who also got to hear about that? Amanda's father. And how it's
Dave.
ruined. Poor
Dave.
We love you, Dave.
Oh my gosh.
Like it was, I feel so bad for fathers of
Oh
teen
yeah.
daughters who are like, oh my God. Because we were hysterical. We really were like, oh my God. Like,
Never gonna see them again.
we're never going to see them again. We will never love like that ever again. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding
Maybe
me?
they are now. Maybe they went back to the beach like the next day or something, and then
They
they
did.
cried, and their whole trip was ruined.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
Oh yeah. Like they've never been the same
They've
since.
never loved again. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. New girls
Oh.
are hard to get over. I have no doubt.
Oh my God. This has been so much
Oh
fun.
my gosh. It is always fun to lighten things up a little bit. And it's definitely fun to talk about all of these core millennial shows, movies, and there's so many that we didn't even touch
So
upon. We could definitely do something like this another time, maybe with a slightly different take. Maybe we won't do things that we're debunking. Maybe we'll do something else. But there's, I mean, my gosh, I can think of uh, Degrassi, One Tree Hill, like there's just too many. There's just too many. And they're all gems in their own way, and they all hold special places in our hearts. And obviously, again, we are not saying, what? You mean life's not like Friends or The Devil Wears Prada or Clueless? Like, no way. What we are saying is these were things that more likely than not helped build a foundation in most millennial women and men to an extent, in your mindset and mind frame of what the world could be like,
Yeah.
or just kind of getting a feel for what's out there. This, I mean, we all were raised to an extent on TV and
Mhm.
movies. So
Yeah.
we hope that you guys got some joy out of this and maybe had a laugh or two. If you're listening and you can think of a show or movie that, we didn't touch upon, especially one that, like, definitely did not set you up for success, but was still one you couldn't miss, let us know. If you're watching on YouTube, put it in the comments. If you're watching a clip on Instagram, definitely, put a comment in there, or you can message us there, whatever your fancy. But we are big fans of just millennial core stuff in general. I am not ashamed. So
No,
happy to talk about it all, and
me
just
too.
happy to laugh with you, Virginia, and just kind of, have a slightly lighter episode this time. Was
Yeah.
good. It was fun.
We hope you guys enjoyed it too. And of course, let us know if you did, or if any of what we talked about also resonates with you as well. Caitlin and I, of course, will get back to our original, Talking Blondes style. But we hope to sprinkle these kind of episodes in every now and then as well. So thank you so much
Definitely.
for
And if
in.
you liked this episode, be sure to share it with another millennial friend. Um,
Yeah.
be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We are on YouTube with the handle Talking Blondes. Be sure to follow us there. You can watch episodes there all day, every day. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Talking Blondes Pod. And yeah, there's other ways to follow us too. They're all in our show notes. So check those out. Yeah, I don't know. I always feel like I want to say a million more things. It's the talking blonde in me that wants to just jibber jabber. But we thank you
No.
so much for hanging out with us, and we can't wait to see you next time.
Bye, everybody. See you
Bye.
next
Take
time.
care.